Whenever Tom Holland and Zendaya step outside together, it might as well be a royal engagement for the way the cameras react. They're not just another Hollywood couple at this point. They're treated like modern film royalty. Every red carpet, every subtle jewelry change, every trip to London or LA sets off a wave of headlines. For years, fans have been waiting for that official "we're engaged" or "we're married" announcement. So far, nothing has been confirmed. But while everyone debates where they stand romantically in 2026, there's one thing that isn't up for debate at all. Together, they've quietly built a financial empire that puts them firmly in the top tier of young Hollywood's elite. What sits behind the cute social media posts, the Spider-Man premieres, and the carefully curated red carpet moments is a joint fortune that a lot of people underestimate. According to recent breakdown from outlets like the Times of India and the Economic Times, Zendaya and Tom Holland are now sitting on a combined net worth in the neighborhood of $50 million. For a couple still under 30, that's not just impressive. That's generational wealth territory. That roughly $50 million Spider-Man fortune isn't just Marvel paychecks stacked on top of each other. It's the result of two careers that started young, exploded once they entered the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then expanded into endorsements, fashion, producing, and business ventures. Together, they built a diversified portfolio that stretches from blockbuster films to prestige television to luxury advertising campaigns and real estate. Both of them were working long before Spider-Man ever swung into the picture. Zendaya came up through Disney, starring in shows like Shake It Up and Casey Undercover, building a fan base and honing her craft from her early teens. Tom Holland was already on the map as a stage actor in Billy Elliot the Musical in London's West End, and he turned heads in dramatic roles like The Impossible. They weren't overnight successes. They were young professionals long before Marvel called. But there's no question that the Marvel Cinematic Universe turned them from rising talents into global stars. Tom's casting as Peter Parker completely changed his trajectory. His first appearance as Spider-Man reportedly earned him around $250,000, fair for a newcomer stepping into a huge franchise. But once audiences embrace him, and the standalone films went on to crush box office records, his value shot up fast. By the time later Spider-Man installments and big projects like Uncharted came around, his salary had moved into the double-digit seven-figure range. That means checks comfortably in the $10 million and up category per major film for someone still in his 20s. Zendaya's position in that same universe as MJ gave her another huge platform, but it was only part of her financial story. Her real turning point came when she took on the role of Rue Bennett in HBO's Euphoria. That series didn't just win her critical acclaim and multiple Emmys. It fundamentally changed her earning power. For the third season of Euphoria, reports estimate her salary at around $1 million per episode. With prestige dramas running 8 or more episodes a season, you're already looking at 8 figures just from that one project. Then you add in what she's done in film. Her involvement in major franchises like Dune has cemented her as a true box office force, not just a television star. She's moved into that rare space where her name on a poster actually moves tickets globally. Each time she steps into a major film, it reinforces her status as one of the few young actors who can straddle both blockbuster and critically acclaimed work, and that has a direct impact on how much she can command per role. But where Zendaya really separates herself financially is in the brand world. Acting salaries are one thing. Global brand ambassadorships are another level entirely. As the face of Lancome, Louis Vuitton, and Bulgari, she's become a walking, talking luxury campaign. Those aren't casual partnerships. Those are multi-year, multi-million-dollar deals that put her image on billboards, magazine covers, digital campaigns, and runway shows around the world. Being front and center for 3 of the biggest names in beauty, fashion, and jewelry effectively turns Zendaya into a global brand of her own. She doesn't just show up in her ads. She shapes their image and attracts a younger, fashion-savvy audience they desperately want to reach. That's why her estimated personal net worth sits around $25 million on its own. Between her acting work, executive producer credits, and those luxury contracts, she brings in a steady stream of high-end income that doesn't depend on one single project. On the other side of this power couple equation, Tom Holland has been quietly making his own high-impact moves. Spider-Man is obviously his anchor role, But he hasn't let himself be boxed in by the superhero suit. He's taken on projects like The Devil All the Time and Cherry, showing different sides of his range, and he headlined the action-adventure film Uncharted, which introduced him to yet another massive audience and helped push his asking price even higher. Then there's his move off the screen. Holland has stepped into the business world with Barrow, a non-alcoholic beverage brand that taps directly into the growing wellness and sober-curious trend. It's a smart lane for a young star trying to build something that can last beyond his acting peak. Non-alcoholic drinks, functional beverages, and health-conscious brands are exploding right now. And getting in early with ownership or a serious stake is how you turn upfront fame into long-term financial security. That combination, franchise films, serious acting work, and business ventures, is how Tom's personal net worth has been pegged at around $25 million as well. It mirrors Zendaya's in scale, and that symmetry is a big part of what makes him stand out. A lot of Hollywood couples are lopsided when it comes to earnings and leverage. With Tom and Zendaya, you've got two people whose financial power, fame, and impact are essentially matched. It's a true 50-50 empire, and you can see that power reflected in how and where they spend. Real estate is one of the most obvious ways high-earning stars signal both wealth and long-term planning. In their case, reports have pointed to a multi-million-dollar home in South London, a serious property move that says a lot about where they see their future. That house isn't just a luxury purchase. It's a base. For Tom, it's close to where he grew up and to his family. For Zendaya, it's a sign that she's not just dipping into his world, but building a life there too. Investing in that kind of London real estate is also a classic stability play. Property in prime areas of a global city tends to hold its value and often appreciate over time. For a couple juggling projects in the US, the UK, and beyond, having a secure home base like that gives them both lifestyle comfort and a serious asset on the balance sheet. You have to remember, too, that these are people who are constantly in demand. Every deal they sign, every campaign they front, every film they choose adds more to that $50 million combined net worth. And they're doing it all under the age of 30, which means they're still in the early to mid phase of what could easily be decades-long careers. What's different with these two is that they've consistently refused to let that interest control them. When wild rumors have popped up in the past, like fake pregnancy talk or false engagement reports, they haven't been afraid to come out and shut it down themselves. They pick their spots. That's what makes their current silence so intriguing. If Laura Roach's statement was completely off base, a clean denial would be easy. Instead, all we've heard is nothing. You also can't ignore how much they've already blurred the line between on-screen and off-screen partnership. As Peter Parker and MJ in the Spider-Man franchise, fans watch the love story unfold in real time, while the same thing was quietly building behind the scenes. When the relationship first became public, it wasn't through an announcement. It was organic. Paparazzi photos, then a gradual easing into more comfortable public appearances together. They never did a hard launch Instagram couple post. It just became understood. Now the conversation has shifted from are they dating to are they engaged to did they secretly get married? And each step of the way, they've taken control of the narrative in a way that keeps their private life intact while still acknowledging that millions of people care deeply about their relationship. If Laura Roach is right, and they've already become husband and wife without the usual Hollywood parade, they've pulled off something incredibly rare, a major life milestone that belongs first and foremost to them, not to the media cycle. No leaks, no tabloids breaking it first, no anonymous source beating them to their own news, just the people they love in the room, and then life going on. From here, the big question is what happens next. Do they eventually confirm it in a low-key way, maybe in an interview months from now, or in a casual comment on a podcast? Will we ever see a single photo from the day, or will that stay in a private album forever? Or do they leave it exactly where it is now, in that gray space where everyone kind of knows, but nobody officially stamped it? Whatever they choose, nothing about how this has played out so far looks accidental. Zendaya and Tom Holland have spent years proving they can be global stars without handing their entire personal lives to the public. If they've decided to become Mr. and Mrs. in private, that's just the next phase of that same game plan. For fans, it might feel like you missed the wedding of the decade, but from where they're standing, that might be the whole point. Whether they're Peter and MJ on screen or quietly Mr. and Mrs. Holland away from the cameras, they're doing this exactly the way they've done everything else in their relationship,